What's up, everyone? It's Karthik with MoneyVest. Welcome on board for our market open live stream. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you all. And markets obviously giving me a bit of a surprise. We are selling off very aggressively here pre-market. So of course everything is down quite a bit. I mean, we've got the QQQs down a little bit over 0.5%, SPY down over 35 basis points. So of course, we were down and then we were higher and then now we're down again in this pre-market live. And QQQ's down. We got Oscar Health down over 2.2%. We've got Tesla down over 1% despite the approval of Tesla's pay package towards Elon Musk. And of course, a lot of semiconductors are also selling off here with Nvidia down over 1.67%. So again, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to cut the cake here in a little bit. I'm going to allow for more and more people to join, and we'll do the cake cutting in about 15 minutes or so, because I definitely want to cut the cake with all of you as well, because you guys are also my family. And so I've celebrated, I think, the last 4 birthdays on live stream. So it's going to be a fun one. And I've got a very important question for all of you. Which hat should I be wearing for this? So I've got a lot of colors. So I've got pink over here, right? I've got a little bit of a dark blue. Then I've got yellow. So yellow is also there. And then, of course, I've got orange a little bit here. And then the 2 most important colors, we've got green and then we've got red. Now, I do like red because the markets are selling off. So I think red would be a bit more fun given the entire sell-off. But then, of course, we also do have a little bit of green. It's more like aqua blue, so more like a different color. But let me know what you guys want me to wear for this live stream, and we'll wear that. I do like red, by the way. So okay, so we got red. No red hat. I got red hat right here, Dave. So red. I see a lot of red, right? Aqua blue next year. Okay, we can do that for next year. But I think red hat it is, given the entire sell-off that we're seeing in this market. So I'll go ahead and just pop on a red hat. It's just, I don't even remember the last time I actually wore a birthday hat. So hopefully it's not going to be super weird. But yes, here we go. We are good to go here for this live stream. So again, thank you so much for joining, everyone. It's crazy, I know, but I really want to celebrate with all of you. And of course, we'll come back to the market. That's going to be the main focus here. And so in about 10 minutes or so, I will cut the cake. I'll treat you guys, and then and we're good to go. All right, so we got 15 minutes. Let's we should have done a video call, all of us. Do you do it on Discord? So Discord actually doesn't allow for video calls here in Dubai, so that won't work. But yeah, I would have loved to have done like a Zoom call, like a group Zoom call. But this is what this live stream is all about, right? That's what the live stream is going to be for, is just celebrating it with everyone. And again, thank you so much, everybody. I really have a lot of messages to catch up to. I have over 500 messages on Discord alone to catch up to, because over the last 24 hours, lots of wishes, lots of messages, lots of things. So I will definitely get back to every single person, by the end of tonight or tomorrow morning. But this weekend, my plan would be to catch up to everything. So, Simran, instant crush. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you, of course. Okay, so let's talk about stocks. What's happening here? Of course, a lot of selling pressure, volatility. VIX is getting back up to over 20, so we are up over 5% right now for the VIX, getting up to over 20. So we are still going to be somewhat reasonable on that percentile. So if you come over to the volatility here, by the way, audio video, just want to make sure it's all good. So just give me a thumbs up if the there's no technical issues and you can see my screen and you're able to hear me as well. So we're looking at 20, right? So this is where the VIX is. And we are in the 63rd percentile right now. Given that the volatility is over 20. So once again, if you come back to days above 20, which is going to be right there, days above 20 is 38.7% of the times in the last 31, 32 years, right? So this is still not a rare event, even though it is not a majority event. Most of the times, as you'll notice, over 61% of the times, the markets have actually stayed in a very strong uptrend and volatility is low. So we are below 20 for the VIX. When it does cross over 20, it starts to get into that rare territory. It's not rare, but it starts to get up there, right? So anything over 20, we are 38%, but anything over 30, right? So that 20 to 30 mark is really what I watch and I pay close attention to. Anything over 30, and now we're looking at less than 9% of the times in terms of the VIX. And so that is going to be a very rare occurrence. And that's why I wanted to share the entire buying checklist of volatility. So VIX getting up to 29.30, market breadth getting below 20%, and as well as the MoneyVest index, right? So MoneyVest index right now is sitting at around 3.16 for the S&P 500. If this sell-off were to continue today and next week, then we are looking at under 3. So it's going to put us into uncertainty, and that is exactly what we wait for. That is the buy signal for us, for here at our community. That's what we are waiting for, right? Is some of those thresholds to get hit. And a lot of people, of course, a lot of members also have questions around those 5 metrics. If one of them gets hit, but the other ones don't, do we start deploying? Do we start buying? The answer is yes, but you have to pace yourself. That's the whole idea, right? You don't want to jump all in just because MoneyVest index is an uncertainty, whereas the other 4 have not been hit. We just have to pace ourselves. We want to make sure that we don't just deploy all of our capital just if one indicator gets triggered. We want to pace ourselves because obviously it can go from 2.9 to 2.5 to 2.2 down to 2, 1.5. So obviously when things start to get worse, they can certainly get more worse, right? They can actually get much worse from there. So that's why we have to pace ourselves. And we have to be very, very careful with where we decide to deploy. And it's really just risk reward is what we analyze, right? And so as we talked about during our April dip, the risk of buying the risk of waiting was greater than the risk of buying, right? That's what we talked about back in April, is because when the volatility was so high, MoneyVest index was in panic. And so the risk of waiting was significantly greater than the risk of buying. Because if you are buying and let's say the markets continue to sell off, that short-term pain, that short-term loss is worth it. Is worth it for that eventual recovery, which it did happen, right? So markets recovered really well. S&P rallied 40%, NASDAQ rallied over 40% from those lows. So it was totally worth it. So our job is to analyze the risk reward at all times. And right now, yes, it's getting better. Risk reward is getting better. But does this mean that we need to go all in and start to be very aggressive? Not yet, right? We can start to think about it, but we're not there yet. And so that's why I watch these levels at 29, 30, 40, 50, 60. Those are volatility levels. And of course, MoneyVest index 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, and 1 are some levels to watch, along with the market breadth as well. Okay. Try not to work too much on your birthday, Dave. I already went back-to-back meetings, man. If anything, my birthday is going to be a really good day if I'm doing what I love, which is working and helping as much as I can. So otherwise, I would go crazy. I would literally go crazy if I'm just like sitting by myself doing nothing. Had a great day so far. Like went to the gym in the morning, met up with a couple friends, had a few meetings, just working. Pretty normal day. So BG, can you go over your Dubai living one day? Mortgage, cost of bills, groceries, language, easy to get around, conveniency, all of that. Absolutely. I can do a sort of like a day in the life, but then also kind of show you exactly, all the cost breakdowns for living in Dubai. And it's actually not as high as what many people believe it to be, because I know that we see the wealth and the rich and the sort of the bling in Dubai, but it doesn't have to be this way, right? It can be that way, but most of the time it's not, because Dubai also has a pretty big middle class population, which, obviously there are areas and there are ways to have a very, very good life, and it's obviously very affordable as well. It's very affordable. That's where we are. Okay, let's take a look here. Yes, Marianne, pretty sure in April VIX hit 50. Yes, we did hit over 50 or over 40. We got up to over 60 at one point. So pre-market, we were at over 59, almost at 60. And then eventually volatility got crushed back down over 72%. So obviously that was a pretty substantial drop in volatility. That's exactly what we are here to take advantage of, right? So we want to turn the dial up on that aggressiveness when volatility gets up to those levels. So pre-market, what do we have? QQQ is down over 60 basis points, so selling off more. S&P 500 is down over 0.5%. November, my birthday month, is going to give us some good deals because we are down after a 6-month rally, after a 6-month streak. For the S&P 500, November is starting to look pretty weak here because if you come over to the seasonality, so SPY seasonality over there, we are looking at a 1.75% loss so far in November. November historically has been a very strong month. So, of course, in the past, as you'll notice, it's got a 73% win rate over the last 25 years with an average gain of over 2%, better than any month in the year. Anything. But most months are only up an average 1%, 1.5%. November is the only month where it's up over 2% based on seasonality. But this month is going to look like, this year, it's going to look like it's going to be down 2% instead of being up. So, yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for the wishes. I really appreciate you all. I'm going to cut the cake in about 5 minutes here, 5 to 7 minutes or so. I'm just waiting for more and more people to join us. And again, thank you so much, everybody. I want to give a shout out to every single person. Marianne, Sean, Samuel, Valerie, Jeremy, thank you so much. Dave, William, Joe, Alistair, Gagandeep, Sauji, thank you so much. Everyone, Tom. What do people drink at the bar in Dubai? I mean, whatever you want. You know, there's a lot of restaurants, there's a lot of hotels that have licenses to serve liquor and alcohol, so you're just as good as anybody anywhere else that you'd go. So whatever your preferred drink is, I'm sure they'll have it. So yeah, so that's where we are. Keep a close eye on those metrics. Volatility is one, money invest index is another, market breadth, very important, RSI and the market threshold, and how much S&P is down from its all-time highs. Because right now, if you take a look, S&P 500 and NASDAQ are both down about 2 to 3% from all-time highs. If you do consider the 60 basis point drop from pre-market, I think the NASDAQ is going to be down about 4.5%, close to 5%. So it's going to put us into a nice pullback, which I think the market really needed, this healthy pullback, because we've just been going up and up. And S&P 500 here is from its all-time highs down almost 3%. And if you were to consider the pre-market sell-off, we're going to be down about 3.5% pre-market as well, including pre-market. So Ether continues to struggle, 3,300. And as a result, a lot of individual stocks, including BMNR, BITX, Ethereum, they're all going to have a hard time finding some kind of momentum here, especially if Ether and crypto, Bitcoin continues to sell off. Bitcoin is really hanging on to $100,000. Even the low for today was 99,260. So we'll see if this level holds up or if we're going to see a further breakdown below the $100,000 level and potentially get down to $93,000, $94,000 here. So that's going to be the levels to watch for crypto. So straight out of Australia, thank you so much, Home Brand. I appreciate you as well. Can you make a video on conviction of having BMNR versus having Ethereum? Really, it's going to be a conviction based on Tom Lee, as well as the fact that, in the past, MicroStrategy's performance relative to Bitcoin has been stronger. But if you were to look at it from inception all the way to now, with all the dilution the company has done, Bitcoin obviously comes out ahead. But there's been periods where MicroStrategy has been a significantly better trade against Bitcoin. So if you are somebody who is strictly focused on crypto, you're like, okay, I just want to buy and hold, Bitcoin or Ether. I think the direct ownership is going to be significantly better over the long term because you're just holding on to the real thing, Bitcoin and Ether. And then, of course, if you are looking to trade, if you are looking to trade options, if you are looking to generate premium and swing trade and have, a little bit better, again, periodically speaking, a little bit better return than BMNR, MicroStrategy, BITX start to come into the into the picture, right? Because you can't really trade, options on Bitcoin and Ether. But of course, if you are looking at BITX or BMNR, then it makes a lot more sense. Just got hammered. My portfolio just got hammered on Figma. HIMS and Bull bought recently. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stocks that have just been getting crushed, right? I mean, yesterday, iron dropped over 12%. Hindsight 2020, I didn't really need to roll my iron call. It would have been just fine. But it just kind of whipsawed so much all over the place this week that I was in the money, then out of the money, then in the money, then back out of the money, and now I'm back out of the money again. And so yesterday got up to 75. And so it kind of, I don't know if Temple Hoff, are you still holding on to your $70 call? Because today, of course, would be the day, it would have expired pretty much worthless. But I rolled it out to $75, which is also out of the money, but it's going to be 2 weeks out now from the strike, from the expiration. So iron selling off. And again, we've seen a lot of volatility in this market. And, I did the video on Wednesday or Tuesday, that this was a bull trap because volume is low, volatility is elevated. And there is still some uncertainty related to trade negotiations, tariffs, inflation, unemployment now. That's another dark cloud coming in with the job challenger cuts, the worst cuts since 2003, so in over 20 years. We've seen over 153,000 job cuts in October 2025. So a lot of things are, kind of intertwining together and playing a big role here. No, unfortunately, I stepped out of it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was just... Iron has been a very volatile stock over the last few days. It's been all over the place, been going up and down. So, happy birthday. Many happy returns from the UK, Sophie. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How often does the market slowly bleed off of without letting the VIX get much lower? Much over 20. So, how often does the market slowly bleed off without letting the VIX get much over 20? So, that's a good question. I think if you were to look at it 2022 as a bear market, what you realize is that volatility gave us pretty good signals of good trading opportunities. So this right here is all of 2022. And 2022 was not like a one big spike in VIX and then getting crushed back down, S&P 500 dropping 20% and then recovering really well rest of the year. But 2022 was more like shorter spikes, but more frequent spikes, right? So that's what we witnessed in 2022, and that was a more prolonged bear market for the S&P 500. So here, a big spike here, getting up to over 35, and then dropping right back down to 18. Over here, getting up to 33, 34, dropping right back down to 20. Once again, jumping up to 36, 37, dropping right back down to 20. This right here, jumping up to over 34, 35, dropping right back down eventually to 18 to 19. So more frequent spikes, but obviously not able to breach over 35, 36. That was kind of like the upper limit for the VIX. And the markets was exactly like a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It was like a downtrend, slow and steady bleed down to like a 25, 30% sell-off. So, this right here is a tradable market. You can certainly trade this market purely based off of volatility. And then other times you can trade these massive spikes, getting up to these insanely high levels where you can aggressively dollar cost average and start to hold on to those positions. So there's two different kinds of volatility spikes. We just have to assess the risk reward. And that's why all the other metrics also come in, right? That's why I mentioned earlier is that you can't just look at volatility and, make a decision because the markets might be telling you something else. So even if the VIX is high, we have to look at the market threshold, the market breadth, money vest index, because it does encompass other momentum indicators and market breadth indicators as well. And then as a whole picture, we can get a pretty good idea on what to look at. Okay, what are the chances the index will drop another 5 to 10% before a rebound? Again, it's kind of hard to say, right? Nobody really knows at the end of the day. Like any kind of predictions, we can't really make with any certainty. And so as a result, I refrain myself from making predictions altogether because my guess is going to be just as good as yours. What I can do is, of course, tell you the technicals. Since we have broken down below 67.70, there is a high probability that we retest 65.50. So that's going to put us down another 2.5%, maybe 3%. And from all-time highs, it's going to put us down just over 5%. So we're going to be in a bit of a pullback for the S&P 500. For the NASDAQ, this right here is going to be the higher low. And if you do break down from this higher low inside this uptrending channel, next support 22,170. So that is going to be that level to watch. And that's going to put us down a little bit over 7, almost 8% from all-time highs. It's going to be a good pullback for the market. And I'm sure volatility is going to be in the 20s, mid-20s. If you do pull back down there, market breadth is going to be pretty attractive. I mean, most of the stocks are going to be trading below their moving averages. Valuation is going to cool off a bit. And money vest index is going to be an uncertainty. So that's going to be a time for us to start deploying capital a little bit, right? Pacing ourselves and start deploying the capital. All right, everyone. So let's do this. Let's cut the cake, and we'll celebrate just for a quick couple minutes, and then we'll come back to the market open. It is 9:20 a.m. Eastern, so it will just take us 5 minutes, and then we'll come back to the market open. So I'm just gonna bring out the cake here. Just give me 1 second while I do pause this live stream here. I'm gonna be right back. All right, so I've also got a lot of candles. I went with all candles. I didn't want to select a specific color, but let me just go ahead and light these up. So then we should be all good to go then. But so what I really want from all of you in this birthday is no gifts, obviously, but what I really would like is one piece of advice. Doesn't matter how old you are. It can be an advice on finance. It can be an advice related to relationships, money, life in general. I really want, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself as a younger person? If you were somebody who was, once again, younger, what would you give yourself as a piece of advice? And I'm sure I'm going to come back and read a lot of the comments here, but that's really what I want from you, is one piece of advice that you'd give yourself, that you give your younger self. What is it that you would tell yourself? Could be anything. Could be anything. Could be about life. Could be about relationships, your marriage, money, finance, whatever it is. Definitely tell me what is one piece of advice that you'd give yourself. All right, everyone. So thank you so much. This is going to be the cake. Hopefully you guys can see it. Just going to bring it over here. There we go. So that's the cake. My girlfriend sent it to me, so shout out to her. She surprised me last night with this cake. I didn't know it was coming. So there we go. Again, thank you so much. I'm going to blow the candles out, make a wish, blow the candles out, and then cut the cake and then treat you guys. So let's do this. So weird always doing this over live stream, but all right. So we'll just cut the cake a little bit. There we go. To all of you guys, okay? I know it's weird, but there you go. It's cheesecake. It's a pretty good cheesecake. Strawberry, right? A blueberry. Okay. I think we're good. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you all. From the bottom of my heart, really. And yeah, very grateful for everything that we have built, the community, and can't wait for more in-person MoneyVest meetups and to actually get to meet everybody, see everyone. It's always a blessing. It's always a blessing. And that's what I said in the Discord as well, that you've got a family member everywhere in the world, right? If you've got a MoneyVest member, you've got a family member in that country. So that's what our community is going to be all about. That's quite literally our culture, is that we want to work on a basis of trust, good foundation, very, very strong foundation, and a community of like-minded individuals, people who are ready to help each other, share their strategies, share their mistakes, share what they've learned so that we can all compound knowledge. It's not about compounding money, but also compounding knowledge with each other, because only then we're able to help others. And I truly believe that that is the one core purpose that all of us have here, is to help as many people as possible. And that's what I really want to do, is help others. I feel like that's literally my core purpose in life, is to help as many people as possible. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you all. I'm going to be live for maybe another 5-7 minutes. So let's just talk a little bit more about some stocks here, and definitely treat yourself. All right. On my behalf, on behalf of MoneyVest. Okay. And I'm going to come back to this stream to definitely read up on a lot of the wise wisdom that you guys are sharing. So definitely do share one piece of advice that you live by, something that you can pass on to others that can really be helpful. So I will definitely come back and read all of it. Spend time with family, parents especially. I love that. Because I looked at this chart where it shows you like a graph on who you spend time with as you grow older. And obviously your parents starts to come down. Friends and family, friends also starts to come down. Your significant other obviously starts to go up. Time spent with kids is obviously higher, but then it drops off at a certain point. But there was one thing that continued to go up. What was it? If anybody has seen that chart, but who was it that you spend the most amount of time with as a person? So there was a lot of charts. Obviously, everything starts to pick up and drop off at different, life cycles. But what was one chart that continued to go up? What was the one line that continued to go up in that study? If anybody remembers that, it was self. Yes, it was yourself, right? You're going to be spending a lot of time with yourself. So I love that. Definitely got to make sure that it's a good person to spend time with. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you all. But 5 minutes, any stocks, I'm here to cover. Any stocks you want my opinion, you want me to go over fundamentals, technicals, let's just cover it. Let's talk about it. So if there's any stocks you want me to go over, happy to do that now. TMQ. So TMQ, obviously, the U.S. government taking ownership into this stock. It did rally quite a bit. It's back now under $4. This is what happens, right? Obviously, when the hype dies down, the stocks eventually do roll over quite aggressively. So this is the entire 66% sell-off. So I'd be a lot more careful with these companies. They were good momentum trades, but definitely, look into the financials and what the business is actually doing in terms of revenues and cash flows and whatnot to better understand whether it's a long-term stock, whether it's a tradable stock. But right now, I would say it's got a nice support down as low as $3.75, close to $4. And if it, of course, bounces off of here, could be a nice swing trade, but would not be a long-term investment for me. And if it does break down, that could be a stop loss for TMQ. So Meta platforms, I am considering Meta to slowly and steadily add to this position. Of course, it continues to slide down. And my next target is going to be closer to 590. So this right here is going to be the next level to watch at $590 for Meta. And of course, a resistance now sits around 620, 625 for Meta platforms once again. So that is going to be that support level right there. And the plan really is to pick up slow and steady, just 5 to 10 shares here and there to continue to build that position up. Get a dog with your life partner before you have kids. It'll give you some insight into how they'll be as a parent. Absolutely, 100%. I agree. I think that's a good stepping stone to better understanding each other. Dave, did you get a dog? I never knew that you had a dog in the past. Or is this just advice that you're giving, but you're not doing it or did it yourself? But yeah, I never knew that if you had a dog. Yes, Peppy. Okay. Nice. So, all right. Let's take a look at a few more names here. So BMNR, we have covered in the past, but let's just quickly go over it. BMNR and BITX, both of them. Down about 60 basis points right now. Of course, it's been selling off down over 9% yesterday on the back of Ethereum. Again, as Ethereum sells off, so will BMNR. I would say a very strong support next is going to stay put at $30. So $30 is going to be that support level to watch for BMNR here. And BITX also down about 1.5% now. Very strong support at $39, close to $40 for BITX. So that is going to be that next support level to watch for BITX. And again, both of them are going to be at around $39 to $40. Both of them are going to be crypto related, right? My dog is turning 16 years old. Chrissy and I bought him in Korea when we were dating. Oh yeah, that's right. I got confused because I remember when I was visiting, you had another dog that was, I think your in-laws that was dropped off at the house. And then I think I thought that you didn't have one, but I remember now. Yes, there were two of them. I remember. So, okay, yes. Yeah. I remember that. That's great. That's awesome. But yeah, 16 years. That's great. Yeah, keep sharing those words of wisdom, you guys. I'm going to come back and read a lot of them to this live stream. So, all right, Oscar, let's take a look here. So, Oscar Health, obviously, big red candle yesterday, pushed higher after the earnings, and then intraday selling off quite aggressively, down over 2.6% pre-market now. Support level is going to stay put at $14.95, closer to $15 for Oscar. So that is going to be that support level to watch there. And of course, our resistance right now sits back at over 1750 for Oscar right now. AMD, let's take a quick look. So Advanced Micro Devices also selling off. There's a lot of companies that are starting to roll over now, right? It's not a surprise that most stocks are selling off since the entire market is in a little bit of a dip / pullback. NASDAQ is in a pullback now. And so AMD support level is going to stay put in the low 200s. I think it's mostly a technology and semiconductor concentrated sell-off at the moment. Whether that's going to be broadening out to other parts of the market, we'll find out soon. But I would not be surprised if AMD sits in the low 200s, in the next couple weeks here if it continues to sell off, right? Obviously, if the market is weak and if you do see some more selling pressure, then low 200s is possible for AMD. So let's take a look at HIMS and HERS. HIMS down over 5%. $40 is still holding up as a support for now. We'll see if this level breaks down or if we continue to validate this level of support here. It is incredibly oversold right now. So RSI, MACD, L3 Banker Oscillator, everything really oversold. So we'll see if that level continues to hold up or if you're going to see some more downside. Here we go. Markets are open. November 7th. We are live for trading here. QQQ is opening down 60 basis points. S&P 500 down over 40 basis points. And in terms of the Magnificent 7, you are seeing more red. In fact, all of them are red. Tesla, Nvidia down 2% each. Bitcoin, Mercado Libre, Google, Netflix, S&P, Amazon, Meta, everything is down. So market's certainly giving me a good gift of a volatility spike. It's only at 5.7%, so nothing crazy. We're still in the 63, 64 percentile right now, but we're definitely going to be monitoring the market moving forward. So again, I do want to mention, thank you so much again for joining. Just for today, the link is going to be down below if you're interested in joining. Literally just for today, a 40% annual discount. This does expire tonight at midnight, just as a birthday celebration here. So link's going to be down below if you're interested in joining and of course taking advantage of this discount. Any questions, email me at admin@moneyvest.com and I'm more than happy to help. Again, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great, fantastic day. And of course, a great weekend. And I'll see you all Monday morning for the next Market Open live stream.